What's up, y'all? How you doing? This is your boy Gerald. It is Thursday, October the 9th, 2015. You're on the backside of your week, y'all. I know some of y'all are like, can't wait till this week is over. It's been kind of draining, huh? But guess what? You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. You got to bear with me, y'all, because I'm starting my day just like you. And this is going out to somebody that just needs validation. You know, you've already got the clarity because you've already seen the signs, and you just need that little bit of motivation to motivate them feet, them beautiful feet. So how's everybody doing? Doing all right? I hope so. So we are turning the corner to the second part of October. Can you believe it, y'all? You blink twice and you'll be going to go grab a turkey. You see already the machines already started churning out the subliminal messages for you. You see that already? They already know that soon as Halloween has come and gone, what's next? To go pluck that bird, right? I know I'm talking to somebody. I know that somebody is kind of concerned because you are worried about your funds and you have been deemed the location that everybody's going to come visit. You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. So the question I need to ask you is what you're worried about. What you're afraid of. Huh? You actually milling over this in the back of your mind. Will you be able to deal with another occurrence? Because you know that with this, you're going to have to see some people that you ain't seen in a minute. Oh, yes. And you know that they're not going to be bringing good tidings. Listen here. Don't you realize the devil's a liar? Don't you get it? Come on now. How many spiritual validations do you need? You're going to be fine. As long as you put God first in everything you do. Okay, now I got these boots tied up because I need my boots. So, this past week, as you guys know about me, I've been in a lot of prayer, y'all. I've had a lot of things be revealed to me through synchronicity and signs. Some by way of my spirit guides, some by way of my angels. But they're all divinely revealed to me. Haven't you realized the moment that you ground your feet, you always tend to see things that may have been hidden in plain sight, or things that you did not have the normal awareness about? They are front and center. You know there's a reason for that, right? Yes, there's a reason. But it doesn't matter, excuse me, unless you are grounded. Because you know the devil's going to use that too as a platform. Come on now. Some of y'all, this has been your season where you're actually doing the work. You are actually taking inventory in stock in your life, and you are, I don't want to use the word hypersensitive, but there has been an awareness on your day-to-day on the things you do. No, I don't mean take a paranoid paranoid approach. You know, why are you living like that? Because you know you're not living if you walk around over your shoulder trying to remember what you said. Come on now, that ain't living. That's you're existing. Oh, come on. But what I mean by that is, haven't you noticed that the things that you genuinely need, there's always a sign for you. There's always validation, and you tend to feel it resonate in your spirit. You know, it's always the opposite of when you do the things you're not supposed to do. I ain't gotta tell you that. You know, you feel that fear, that anxiety, that restlessness. Come on now, the devil's a liar. But see, because your legacy is so precious, your legacy is blessed, and because God loves you so much, He's asking you, just take your hand out. Just come get it. You're going to be all right. But then that's when that fear comes in now, don't it? It just comes into view. And you have to make a decision. And it normally plays out like this. Is it going to impact me today? Or is it going to impact me tomorrow? And a lot of times we don't think about the ramifications of tomorrow because we're too pre-absorbed of what's going on today. But if you would just step back a second, you'll come to understand that everything that is playing out before you right now, that is your reality, was already decided before it was your reality. I know I'm talking to somebody. I know I'm talking to somebody. You are starting to see the correlations of choices made. That is why it's so important that you protect your free will. That's right. You knew I was going around the corner. You knew I was coming around the corner with that, right? I know I'm talking to somebody. You realize you're starting to see the seeds that were planted long ago are the harvest of what's going on now. Some of it got you frustrated. Some of it got you feeling beside yourself. And some of it got you feeling alone. Let me tell you something. You're never alone. You're never alone. I know that needs to go out to somebody. That's why you're feeling so frustrated right now. That's why it seems like you may be going out your mind. No, you're not. You're not going out of your mind. You ain't crazy. But what is required is that you do something different. That's right. You got to step out your comfort zone because life as you know it, because you are starting to see through a mature point of view that the choices that were made may have been done impulsively or unaware. Maybe there might have been some information that you did not know around, didn't know what was going on, and now you do. I kind of look at it like you didn't read the small print. You're a human being. You're a human being, y'all. So, right now, what I want to tell somebody is this. I need you to stop beating yourself up. Did you hear what I said? Stop beating yourself up. You have to come to terms with the choice or choices you have made. You can't get back yesterday. You can't. I would wish somebody could bring back tomorrow the things that I know now. If I knew 20 plus years ago, I'm telling you, you'd be looking at a multi-millionaire for sure. But that wasn't part of my walk. But I'm a firm believer of this, y'all, because God loves you so much. Anything that is ordained for your life will come to pass the moment the tools and lessons needed to claim it has been embraced. I know that need to go out to somebody. I know I do. You realizing that the mindset that you had then is the reality that you have now, and you know that it no longer works. It no longer serves you. And you hurting inside. You angry. You're one step or one decision from emotional breakdown. But don't you realize those actions, those premeditated choices that you are milling over now? Let me explain something to you. If God is not in front of it, you are setting yourself up for failure. Because look, let's be honest. if God ain't in it, it can't grow. Queens, you know I'm telling the truth, but I'm talking to that little girl inside you right now. If you know what you need, why won't you do the work so it can grow, so it can come to pass? If you know that by choosing to live a life that is reckless, you do understand by living a reckless life, that's no different than a life that is unclean. You do know that. You understand that? There is a correlation to what you're seeing. I'm telling you like it is. Some of you are actually walking around with an anger inside you that is so volatile that anything that would remotely remind you of peace of mind, it'll set you off. You don't even like the fact that when you see people holding hands, you don't like when people are being affectionate. You don't even want to see none of that because you've convinced yourself that that's not real. It's not real because that's not your reality, because the reality that you have is far from it. All you know is abuse. All you know is disappointment. All you know is the condition and the actions taken from the exchange. That's not your life. I keep trying to tell you that. Why do you think you are seeing what you're seeing? You think God doesn't want the best for you? He created you. He didn't make no mistake. Come on now. But you're saying, well, Gerald, if God loved me so much, why do I hurt so? Because you don't love you. Because if you loved you, why wouldn't you protect you? If you're wounded, why won't you allow yourself to heal? Because you have emotionally and mentally conditioned yourself to survive. Why do you think they use the term half dead? When you don't live your life to the fullest, that's what are you doing? You're not claiming your life. So you might as well be, and that's not your walk. But this comment right now is for that one. See, I understand you, King. I understand you, Queen. You were raised in a family structure that was nothing more but hell. You watched your parents, the people that should have protected you, systematically break you down. Every time that you tried to stand up, they maliciously showed through their actions that your worth mattered none. But let me tell you something. I explained this to somebody long ago. What you're witnessing, or you'll come to understand that if your life was not ordained for greatness, because see, everybody has a purpose, y'all. Everybody. That's why you exist. Don't get it twisted. You're not here on this planet just to eat up everything and take up air and space. No, 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 no. You're here to do a job. Each one, teach one. And you're required to see it through. But see, you'll come to understand that if your life wasn't so precious, the devil wouldn't have came and tried to attack you when you didn't know what was going on. I know I'm talking to somebody. You might have been raised in an environment where you had to deal with physical, emotional, better known as psychological abuse on a daily basis. You may have been reared in an environment where your mother or your father or separate, they were nothing but crazy. Now, mind you, that is nothing but a descriptive word. And you were conditioned in that. So if you were conditioned in that, you saw what you thought was normal. Because that was your environment. You're going off of what you were reared in. But what you'll come to realize is this. Because you know that devil's a liar, right? I keep telling you. And the devil is real. See, if your life was not ordained for a specific job, a specific, I'll put it this way. Think of it like this, from a figurative point. You know how you look at a, say, a grandfather clock, and you take the face and you open it and you see all the wheels and the grommets, and they all have their own distinct job. They're needed. That's why they're there. But they all come together to do one thing. They come together to tell time, to help that clock function correctly. Now, think of those intricate pieces as people, right? If that one piece was not where it needed to be, what would happen? There would be a breakdown. It wouldn't perform. You wouldn't get the end goal. So let's look at your life. See, right now, I know some of y'all have unfortunately had to endure some tumultuous experiences at such a young age. You had to more or less, the only option that you knew was to survive. So you stuff those disappointments, you stuff those nightmares, you stuff those incidents inside you. Now, mind you, you are supposed to be in an environment that is balanced, that is protective, which is nurturing and growing. Because guess what? Your psychology, your mindset, your mind state is forged off of who you interact the most. So that's your parents, that's your siblings, and the external additives such as your education. Some people still are students to street university. But you, all the while, you have disconnected you. You've disconnected from your emotional state and you're just going along the path as you know it. But you'll start to notice this. And this is very disparaging because sooner or later you start to take stock in your life and you're starting to question some of the decisions that you have made or some of the things that do not resonate, you don't understand, or better yet, don't get. I know I'm talking to somebody. You're saying to yourself, well, I can't relate to that. Because in the back of your mind, you've had somebody for years saying, don't embrace your emotions. That's a sign of weakness, not a sign of strength. You're embracing a position of pretty much you got a barrier up. So every time when someone that is not of your circle comes to you and they show you affection, they show you attention, they show genuine interest in your potential, you look at it with a speculative, or you're in, it's pretty much they have to prove themselves. You've already been the judge, jury, and the prosecutor for their authenticity. You understand what I'm saying? Until you prove your worthiness, I'm going to think you just like that because, see, that's all I know. See, I'm coming from an environment where things were broken, when things didn't work, and I had to scratch to survive. I had to do things just to make it to tomorrow. I know I'm talking to somebody. And you're seeing the direct correlation in why the human dynamic, your connections, your relationships don't work. And the things that you should be protected from, you are attracted to. Come on, Queens. Come on now. Because we constantly are looking on the things that are, we embrace the things that are easiest, that are not challenging. And depending on where your psyche is, you may have some people that prey on that. I ain't got to tell you that. You know what I'm talking about, Queen. Oh, he looked good. From the outside, he seemed like he had it all together. From the outside, he may have showed you something about you from the outside, but the things that would have longevity, the things that would spawn growth, the things that ultimately define you, you left holding the bag. You left feeling depleted. And what's sad about it is you don't see the correlation that you were the prey until months later. So guess what? Now you are walking around wounded. Now you've got another layer of pain. You got to make it through. But all the while, you still have not made a choice to heal. I know I'm talking to somebody. You seek advice from your circle, but your wise advice from your circle is not in your benefit. Because when you take a step back and look, you'll come to see that all of you share the same common denominator. You're living with your wounds. You're not healing from your wounds, which would be your insight. That is your wisdom. That's why you're going through that habitual cycle. That's why you're going through it. Why? Because it's comfortable. Some of you have had a love affair with pain before you could ride a bike. You're saying, well, my mom wasn't there for me. All you know is watching mom have that new friend. And the moments where you wanted attention, when you wanted support, they never had time for you. You'll come to understand it's because no one had time for them. And they're also going off of what they know. You'll come to see that. You'll come to understand that that was a condition that was embraced. You think your life is supposed to be like that? See, I know somebody right now is saying, well, Gerald, that's why I ain't got time for love. I don't need a man. I can do it by myself. But you lying to yourself. You don't need a man, but you first person that says something that you want to hear, only to pick up the pieces after they've gotten away. No. I keep trying to tell you, the devil's a liar. The devil is going to always try to put you on the path of what you desire, never what you need. Because what you need is for you to feel emotionally safe, for you to love yourself. That's why I tell you all the time, queens, stop going to look for a man. I tell you, kings, stop looking for Miss Right. Stop. Because until you make a conscious decision to go in an emotional backpack and look at what don't work, you'll come to see that every person that you were connected to had them same traits. And it didn't get better. It got worse more and more. Why? Because God's trying to show you that what he has for you is beyond your wildest. You can't fathom. So don't even try. You can't outthink God. God created you. And that's why the devil wants you. Because God is love. But try as you must. You allow society to influence the way you guide your feet. Why you think there's so many women queens that are really glorified social prostitutes? Come on now. You rather go out there, you rather put your ass and titties on display than wonder if a man can connect with you on an intellectual level. Or can he connect with you on an emotional level? He will never connect to you unless he connects with God first. I keep trying to convey that. And that's what you want. Because if you don't have a relationship with God first, he'll never have a relationship with you. So how can you feel emotionally safe? How can you? You're not. And you really are settling or setting yourself up for your next disappointment. If your conversations with a person of interest doesn't have God in it somewhere, you need to take heed on that. You may be looking at the next person that has an agenda to distract you from what you need. But I go back to what I said before. Your life is blessed. You have so much that is waiting, that has your name assigned on it. The moment that you decide to claim your life back. If you turn around and trying to emulate what you see on TV, what you hear, listen, the devil's got that on lock. And the people that you see, they ain't nothing but puppets. Why you think they make the money they make? Because they done sold their soul a long time ago. Oh, they quick to tell you about their come-ups, but they'll never tell you about their come-throughs. Why is that? It's because they're ashamed of it. They don't want to admit to you what they had to do. No, because it's a package. There's a machine behind that. But the moment that they decide to say something truthful, something that you need to know, not what you want to know, what happens? They turn that mic off, quick. Then, socially, everything that was given to push the agenda is systematically taken away. Do you think it's coincidental that people are getting hit with IRS tax investigation? We hear this every year. You would think that they would learn from the last person, but every year there's somebody got to go through it. Why? Because they use that as a means to control. Come on, see the picture. See the picture, y'all. Come on now. But let's go back to what I was saying earlier. I know that some of y'all are tired of crying. And unfortunately, you allow that little voice called your ego to convince you to be more assertive. And that's why you feel like you have to turn your volume to 20 to be taken serious. Listen, you ain't got to put your voice on high when a person genuinely wants to know what you're about. Because they're going to give you the common respect needed to hear you out. It's the ones that don't want to do that because they know at the end of the day, they don't care about what you think. They want to do is fulfill what they want to do to you and what they can get away from, what they can get out of you. And as soon as they can, guess what? You get the same outcome that you did with the last one. Now they're getting so systematic, they're going after your money. But he's fine, though. You say to yourself, oh, man, he's fine. But yet, he's pushing you to be the best you, but why is he not doing the same for him? Because that ain't nothing but social pimping. He got you running around with your head cut off, but last time you checked, he's still doing the same thing. Sitting on that couch, eating up your food, breathing your air, and playing with your libido. And you say all the time, this is the last time I'm going to deal with that. I'm going to tell him how I feel. And the moment that he goes to walk out the door, what do? You don't let him leave. I keep trying to tell you. Opportunists don't need your help to expose themselves. But you do have to be responsible by seeing it for what it is. And the question is, why? Why won't you? See, right now, a lot of the things hidden in plain sight are being, they're so bold with it, y'all, they don't even care. Society, socially, they knew that women, because you're given the gift of nurturement. That's why you inherited the term mother. They knew to get you to spend that money, we're gonna attack your self-esteem. Why do you think the videos and the movies were the way they are? Because there's a dollar sign connected to it. Come on now. Every time somebody They put in front of that camera. They already know, hey, watch me make these sheep. Watch what they do. And they do. I guarantee you come out with a new artist and he's got an angle. You're going to find 1,001 trying to emulate that because they think it's fresh. But what you'll come to realize, the same tricks of the trade that is being done today are the same things they've been doing for the last 50 years. Just they got technology now. But the same social standards is the same way. Hell, a clown is a clown. Don't matter what kind of outfit they got on, they're still a clown, right? Exactly. So now you got all these women right now that are playing with their health. What did I tell y'all? I told y'all that 2 years ago. Stop trying to augment your body because you're playing with your health, because you're playing with your DNA, your genetic code. And what do? You don't listen. And now you got women dropping like flies. You were born to look a certain way. God didn't make a mistake in that. And what's sad about it, you're saying, well, hey, if I nip and tuck and I do this and do that, it'll put me to an economic status that I never could have before. But if that person loved you, wouldn't they love the same person that gets up in the wee mornings to brush their pearly whites, to wash the crust out your eyes? That's the person that they should be treasuring, not the person that steps out in the world. So, I'm just saying. I had a conversation with somebody today, and let me clarify this. Because some of y'all might think, oh, Gerald, you just bashing. No, I'm not. I'm speaking the things you got insecurities about. I'm just validating it because it's true. You know what I'm saying? Look, anything made by man's hands comes with an expiration date. Anything. But if it comes from God, it's forever. Your spirit, your joy, your happiness. But if you're not willing to invest in it, how can you know the worth? How can you know the value? You got trust issues? You got trust issues? I got that feeling. Somebody said, well, I got trust issues. You got trust issues because you don't trust yourself. You don't trust yourself. That's why you got no boundaries. And that's why every time you say, well, I'm going to do this a little different, instead of learning from the things that you've experienced, what do? You hold on to the things that was done to you so you can turn around and do to somebody else. That's why you got so many women walking around like grown-ass men. How crazy is that? She may be alluring to the eye until she open her mouth, and you sound like a 50-year-old dude. I'm not going to do this, and you better do that. How can you respect yourself when you ain't doing it? Nobody knows you better than you. But you got some women think, well, you know what? As long as I got that golden cookie, I can always get them. But you can't keep them now, can you? But you won't take stock on the fact that, okay, there's another man that's climbing off top of your body. There's another, because you do understand this, y'all. Every time you're intimate, their DNA is mixed with yours. And guess what? They don't go nowhere. On the spiritual tip, you just embrace another soul tie, which is nothing but a soul lesson, another soul lesson. And why? Because you're insecure? Because you don't want to do the work? Don't you realize cheaters never win? Aren't you tired of taking L's? Maybe this is the season where you're not supposed to be with anybody, but with yourself. What about all those dreams and desires that you put to the side because you're too busy chasing a little boy? And I know somebody saying, well, Gerald, that's why I deal with older men. Let me tell you something. All you doing is dating somebody that's making up for the things your daddy ain't do. I said it. That's right. You think the fact because he got security, because he did the work somehow, now he got a little paper, or he's financially set, that's gonna you gonna come right into that dude's life? No, no. He gonna treat you like this, and the moment that you get out of line, he gonna replace you. And mind you, there are those waiting for you to mess up. Why? Because that whole situation ain't blessed. It ain't blessed. Why you think you crying and you crying behind closed doors? God forbid people see that you're human. You crying in your car. You don't understand why you seeing what you're seeing. You're seeing what you're seeing because you refuse to take ownership of your life. And guess what? That devil, he's just smiling. His demons laughing at you. And here's the ironic part. Your supposed circle, they never there when you need them there. But they're there when they want something now. Ain't that true? Why? Because they don't care about you. They never did. And the moment that some truth is brought out, guess what? Now y'all playing who's the next contestants of extortion or us. Oh yeah, they got dirt on you. They got mad dirt on you. That's why when you always have someone new, they look at you kind of crazy, but they look at them like they stupid. Because if they really knew what was going on, they would run like hell. Why? Because God ain't in it. Come on now. How many bruises on your butt? How many bruises on your body do you gotta embrace? How many scars do you gotta? That don't make you strong. That just shows that you being a martyr. And then you got some that will play the victim card, which goes back to what I said earlier. As long as you got air in your lungs, you can change. You can change. I know somebody saying, "Well, Gerald, I'm in my 60s, and I always wanted to go to school, but I just never had time." Why not? You got enough time to talk on the phone. You got enough time to go bullshit. Why won't you make time to chase your dreams? Those are your dreams. Mm-mm. I can't accept that because God loves you too much. And I'm only speaking to what is already found in your heart. And I know somebody's saying, well, that's why I ain't got no heart. And that's why you suffering. And if you don't turn that cheek, I ain't talking about the one behind your navel. If you don't change your ways, you might as well go ahead and write your obituary. Because you're not claiming your life. I mean, come on now. Look what's behind you. Look at all the people that are associated with you. Or better yet, you are the common denominator. For what? For little trinkets? They were all distractions. Some of y'all got that as a regret now. You're like, if I never invested in my time in this person, I could have had this, whatever that was. You know what I'm talking about. You would have it. That would be a reality. Well, maybe this is the time that you do it. What's stopping you? I know somebody's saying, well, I got kids, Gerald. Yeah, but you had a life before your kids, too. And if you don't take care of your life, you can't take care of your kids. Unless you want to be somebody's servant. Because nowadays, a lot of people get married just for security. Yeah, I said it. As long as you play your part, he gonna keep doing his part. But the moment you turn around and claim your life, he up out of there. Well, guess what? He shouldn't have never been there to begin with. He shouldn't have never been there. You should have never been with her. You was only with her because of what her symmetry looked like, what she looked like naked, what her heart looked like. What about what comes out of her mind? What about what comes out of her mouth? Oh, she ain't got time for that. But she got time to throw that shade at you now, don't she? I know I'm talking to somebody. If you're spending this moment feeling like your mind is like this, if you are having conversations in your head that sound like coulda, woulda, shoulda, if you are in that place where every song that you hear seems like it's talking to you, it's because it is. I keep telling you, God's a custom tailored God. He uses synchronicity and he uses signs to get your attention. But what he will not do is chase you down. He won't. Two gifts he's ever given to mankind was the gift to love himself unconditionally, and the second was free will. So you got to make your bed and lie in it. Sure, from the outside, it seems like you got it going on, but behind closed doors, you know you living in hell. You think that's supposed to be your reality? But I believe this. No matter what the distraction is, no matter what the chains are that have you shackled, no matter what the pain is that you feel, you can come through it. You come through it. You can come through it the moment that you decide to call on him. He is waiting on you. He wants to guide you to that happy ever after. But I know some of y'all are like this. Well, Gerald, I hear what you're saying, but if I did that, everything that I know, I would lose. And you know what? You're right. Every bit of it. You know why? Because what is divinely meant for you, it's better. It's better. But I know how some of y'all women do. Y'all don't like the fact of living alone. So you'll jump off of one bus to jump on another one with no destination in mind. You just more or less will take the position of, well, wherever I end up, I'll figure it out. At what expense? Your health? Medicines available without a prescription to fight your At what expense? Your emotional state? At what expense? Your life? What is a life lived that is unfulfilled? Nothing. Nothing. So why won't you claim you? When you going to stop lying to yourself? Because guess what? Because we got free will, y'all, just like you can change, they can change. Now ask yourself this, why haven't they? If they loved you, shouldn't they protect you? Shouldn't they tell you what you need, not what you want to hear? But then to do that, you have to admit that you were wrong. And your pride is so strong, that has been your false sense of security, and you know that there's an ugly truth behind that. You ain't got to live that life. You're choosing to. And that makes me wonder this too. And I'm going to shut up, because I think everybody's experienced this at one time. Think back when you were a kid, right? And the disposition your mother or your father may have had towards whatever your endeavors were. And I know a lot of you feel like you had to raise yourself. And you did the best you could with the environment that was your reality. And then as you matured, think about the moment that your parents may have said this. Johnny, I don't want you hanging out with that young lady. And you didn't understand why it seemed like your mama was hating on you. So what do? You go behind your parents' wishes, and you still see that girl, and what happens? Something happened to you. Something happened to your health. Something happened to your money. Something happened to you figuratively. All because you was with that girl. And then you got to turn around, pick up the pieces, and admit to yourself they were right. Some people know that as tough love, right? But if you dig a little deeper, you'll come to understand this. What was being revealed was, it wasn't the fact that your parents didn't want you to be involved with that person just out of spite. They were doing that out of protection because they saw traits in them. Yeah, you catching that? They saw the reality of who you were attracting, because the same traits that fast ass girl had is the same traits that your mother got, your daddy got. And they're taking an approach of, well, the least I can do is protect him from himself. Why? Because even them, even your elders, still did not want to heal from it. You don't know. You may be the one that's supposed to be the matriarch of your family that is going to break that generational curse. So once again, let's go back. Why do you think the devil showed up in your life early? Huh? Why do you think you went through what you went through? Because the devil didn't want you to come into who you destined to be. So yes, you went through a lot of pain. You went through a lot of torment. You went through a period where your mind was psychologically being conditioned to not love you. But you'll come, if you look a little deeper, you'll come to see that birds of a feather flock together. So the same mindset that you have is the same mindset that you learned from your parents. I know I'm talking to somebody. How many times you didn't scratch your head? You can count on both hands how many times mama got a new friend. They ain't sitting at the kitchen table swapping recipes. You know the outcome already. So this goes out to my man, to my kings too, because I think somebody needs to hear this, and I'm going to shut up. My kings, it behooves you to stop calling women bitches. Stop calling them hoes. Stop calling them thoughts or any derogatory word of description that is not their God-given name. Because you might not realize maybe your mother, maybe your grandmother, maybe your auntie also was called those things. You'll come to understand this. Even if you don't want to admit it, sexuality has been around since the beginning of time. And the same things that you doing to them, yeah, somebody did that to them. And you're wondering why mama is acting crazy. Why daddy seems like he got anger issues. He don't know how to talk about it because, see, you got to look at it 4 decades ago when he was a child. He probably never had somebody take him under his wing and say, hey, look, this ain't the way. He probably never had somebody say, you know, I love you. I expect the best from you. And push him. Do you realize how many people are walking on this planet that have God-given talents that the world will never see? I know I'm talking to somebody. You know, yes, the world knows of Michael Jordan. But I guarantee you there's somebody that is better than Michael Jordan. They'll never be heard. There's somebody that's better than Michael Jackson. There's someone better than Muhammad Ali. But because they didn't have the support, they didn't have the tools, the nurturement for someone to genuinely say, you know what, I give a damn about you. They gave up on themselves. And they said, well, you know, I'm only to be a parent, and it is what we is. Your life is not supposed to be a scene from Good Times, a scene from the Jeffersons. Your life is not a sitcom. Your life is an experience that is solely up to you to define it. The question is, why won't you? Because you didn't go through some stuff. It didn't kill you. And see, a lot of these people that walk around will use that. What don't kill you make you strong. But what you come to realize is this. If it was meant for your reality, it would be your present. Because God was there the whole time, and He brought you through it. Did you learn from it? Did you learn from it? Don't squander your life. Claim it. Time to step out of your comfort zone. God is praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me define mine. I'm telling you, y'all don't realize we are in some spiritual and divine times, y'all. And look, I know this goes out to somebody right now, you're teetering on which direction you want to go with your life, but I'm telling you, if long as you put God first in front of whatever you're going to do right now and stick with it, you're going to be amazed where you're going to end up a year from now. Love to hear from you. Stay blessed.